Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita Shloka recitation session. Let's start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Did you send a reminder, Isha? Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. So we are going to recite Bhagavad Gita chapters 7, 8 and 9. So Madhava, you will begin. Bhagavad Gita 7:1.
Sri Bhagavanu Maya Saptamana Partha Yogam Mudasaya Samsaram Samagramam Yatagya Satsiraksinu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Pratap, with full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." Yananten savijahanam idam yakshasundristaha yagyatvanayamyonyaj yatavyamasasate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and luminous, listening known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. 73. Namasaram Sahasresu Vastudyarati Siddhaye Charitamapi Siddhanam Kastimam Viditattvaha. One out of many who have one may endeavor for perfection, whereas those who have achieved perfection are only one knows me in truth. 74. Va'unakarnavovayu Kambuddhirevata Ahankara iti yumme Vigna Prakritirastava. Earth, water, fire, air, and third intelligence and false ego. Altogether, these eight comprise my second material entities. 75. Uparayam itas tasmanyam praकृतिं विद्धि मे परम जीवभूतं महाबाहो yeda bharate jagat. Besides these, O mighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mine, which comprises holy entities, providing the resources of this material inferior nature. 76. Etani yonini bhutani sarvani vipadavaya muktisya bhagavata. All created beings have their source in these three natures. of all that is material, and all that is essential in this world, not uncertain, but I am both the origin and the distribution. Uttamanyat, Vancharasidhanandaya, my servant, Autumn, Sutramanikana Eva, O conqueror of earth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung on a thread. 7-8. Rasa Pavasmi Sasisuyo Panamasu Sobrake Paulasanyasu. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, and the sound in ether, and ability in mind. Vitamma Sarvabhutana Buddhi Parthasanatanam Nitya Buddhi Vikamasmi Tejas Vinamaham. O son of Buddha, know that I am the earthly seed of all existences, the intelligence of the intelligent, the knowledge of all powerful men.
Balam 7:11. Balam Balavatam Chaham Kamaragavarjatam Dharma Viruddho Bhuteshu Kamosmi Bharatarshapha. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am such life, which is not contrary to religious principles. O Lord of the Bharatas, Arjuna. 7:12. ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामसाश्रये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. 7:13. Prabhargunamayer evi sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhya paramavyayam. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. 7:14. Devi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mame Vaye Prapadyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. 7:15. Namam Dushkritino Murdha Prapadyante Naradhama Mayaya Pahrita Jnana Asuram Bhavamashita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. 7:16. Chaturvadha bhajante mam jana sukritirarjuna artho jigyasararthi jnani cha bharatarshabha. O best among the Bharatas, four kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. 7:17. Tesham Gyani Nityayukta Eka Bhakta Vishishyate Priyo Hi Gyani Notartham Aham Saja Mama Priya. Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best, for I am very dear to him, and he is dear to me. 7:19. Bahunam Janmanamante Gyanavarmam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. 7:20. Kamaistaistahritagyanam prapadyante nyadevata tam tam niyamam asaya prakritya niyata svaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures.
722. Satya Shraddhaya Yukta Tasya Radhamani Mudadesa Kaman Vayava Hita. Endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by 723. Antavatu Bhalam Desa Tarpamatu Bhamesa Devan Devayato Yanti Mantakta Mauti. None of small results, but the demigods, and their fruits are limited, temporary and temporary. Those who worship the demigods, the plants of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately needs to accept this planet. 724. Avyaktam Vyaktamapana Manyantya Bhagavata Param Bhavam Udasato Even to such men who do not know me perfectly, think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before, and have now assumed this personality. Neither their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is impersonal and supreme. 725. Naham Vikasa Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavita Mudhoyam Nabhi I have never manifested a foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. 726. Vedaham Sunatani Vartamanani Charjana Pavasyani Sabhutani Bhaktavedana Vastana. That the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. 727. Ichadve Sasamatana Sundamohana Bharata Sarvabhuta Nivisammoham Sarve Ramti Bharata. O son of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into dualism, bewildered by dualities, arisen from desire and hate. 728. Ye Sandvantavatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmana Vedanta Mohana Mukta Patanjarma Ridavata. Persons who have acted wisely in previous life and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are free from the duality of illusion, and they engage themselves in mindfulness with determination.
85. Antakale chamam eva smaran mutvaka devaram yatayati samabhavam yati nastyatra samsayaha. Whoever at the end of his life puts his body remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. 86. Kamyam vapi smaran bhavam teretyante kanevaram tam tam evaiti kunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. 87. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu man anusmarayudhya cha may arpita mano buddhir mame vaishyasya samshaya. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting with your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me. You will attain me without doubt. 8. Abhyasa yoga yuktena cetasa nanya paramam purusham devyam yati arthanu chintayan. He who meditates on me as a supreme personality of God, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path. He, O Partha, is sure to reach me. 8:14. Ananyacheta savatam yomam smriti nityashaha tasyaham savabhapartha nityayaktasya yoginaha. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Partha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. 8:15. Mamupetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam Natnubanti Mahatmanaha Samsiddhim Paramamgata. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. 8:16. Abrahma Bhuvanaloka Punaravanti Nojana Mam Upetya Tu Kauteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. From the highest plant in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. 17. Sahasrayuga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidu Ratrin Yuga Sahasrantam Rakriyata Pranibhojana. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such is also the duration of his life. 8:19. Bhuta Brahma sa evani bhutva praliyate ratriyagame vashapartha prabhavatiha ragame. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. 8:20. Parastasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yasa sarveshu kale bhuteshu nasyatsu navinashyati. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is.
Radhika,
8:21. Avyaktoshara ityuktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That which the Vedantas describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode. 8:28. Vedeshu yaggeshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upeti chadyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. 9.1. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Idam tu te guyatamam pavakshyami anusuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yadgyatva mokshase shubhat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. 9.2. Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitramidamuttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartumavvyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. 9.3. Ashradhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. 9.4. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyaktamurtina matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham teshvavastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. 9.5. न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमेश्वरं भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थो mamatma bhutabhavanah. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of this creation. 9.10. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena konteya jagad viparivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
Madhava?
9/11. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls who perfectly worship me with devotion. 17. Pitahamasya jagato, mata dhata pitamaha,
I think the last one that Radhika read was 9:10. I think we should have started with 9:11. Sorry. Okay. Madhava, you were right. Start with 9:11.
9/11. Vadanti Mamura, Manachantanamastritam, Parambhavamatsananto, Amatmakamaheswaram. Those deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that be. 9:12. Mohasha Moha Karmano, Moha Vyana Vichetasaha, Raksasan Asurin Saiva, Prakritam Mohinim Sitaha. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. 9:13. Mahatmanastu Mampartha, Dairyam Prakritamasuta, Santananya Manaso, Yatvadupadam Avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service, because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. 9:14. Satatamukirtayantamam, yatantasyavidavataha, namasyantasya bhaktya, nityayukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. 9:15. Pitahamasya jagato, mata data pitamaha, vedyam pavitam mukara, viksamaya virevata. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the silver womb. I am also the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajurvedas.
9.21. Etam bhukva svargalokam visham Shine punya martya lokam vishanti Evam traye dharmam prapanna Katagatam kama kama labhante. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure, and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. 922. Ananyashrintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesam nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamiham. But those who worship me with exquisite devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. 923. Yepyanyadevata bhakta yajante shraddhaya tepi mame bhavanteya yajantya vidhi purvakam. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. 924. Aham hi sarva yagyānam bhokta cha prabharev cha na tu mam abhijananti tatvena dashravanti te. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down.
925. Yanti deva vrata deva Pitryanti Pitravrata Bhutani Yanti Putedya Yanti Manyanti Nopi. Those who worship the demigods who take birth from the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors will go to the ancestors. Those who worship books and spirits will take birth from such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Patrambas Kampalam Toyam Yame Bhakta Prayanti Tadaham Bhakti Pratam Nami Prayadamana. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. 927. Yad Karosi Yadasnasi Yad Zahosi Dadasya Yad Tapasasi Panteya Tat Kuru Swagurat. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerity you perform, do that also as an offering to me.
929. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tunam bhaktya maite teshu trapyam. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. 930. Apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyeva sadhuneva samantavyaha samyak vyavasito hisaha. Even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because properly situated in his determination. 931. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigachati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace, O son of Kunti. Declare boldly that my devotee never perishes.
Radhika.
932. Mami partava pashritya yepi supapayonaya striyo veshastata shudras tepi yanti param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they may be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, and Shudras, can attain the supreme destination. 933. Brahmana punya bhakta raja shayastata anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. How much more is this so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings? Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. 934. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame varshasi yuktvevam atmanam yat matparayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Thank you. So let's read Mahabharata now. Yesterday we read Yudhishthir Maharaj heard about the Vaishnava sacrifice performed by Duryodhana. Okay, so and after that Vaishnava sacrifice, Karna had taken a vow not to eat meat and engage in sense pleasures until he has killed Arjun in battle. That was his vow, so that he would accumulate powers, ascetic powers, in order to kill Arjun. When Yudhishthir Maharaj heard about this, he became worried, and he was thinking, Karna has this armor, natural armor, and earrings. As long as he had those, nobody could kill him in battle. And now he has taken a vow to kill Arjun. So Arjun's position is precarious. So he was worried. Lord Indra, seeing Yudhishthir Maharaj's concern, wanted to help the Pandavas. So he decided to. Karna had also taken another vow. He said he won't eat meat, and he won't engage in gross sense pleasures. Also, he will give in charity. He will never refuse anyone who approaches him for charity, especially Brahmanas. So, um, so now Indra, wanting to take advantage of Karna's vow, decided to go to Karna in disguise as a Brahmana and beg him in charity for his armor and earrings. So when Karna would be separated from his armor, so this armor and earrings were actually made of the celestial nectar. That's why it made him immortal as long as he had those two, the armor and earrings. So Indra thought, I'll go and beg from him, and because he has already taken a vow that he will not refuse any Brahmana, any charity to the Brahmanas, so he will give. And once he gives, now Arjun's position is safe. Surya understood Indra's plan by his divine vision. And Surya is the father of Karna. So he came to Karna in a dream in the form of a Brahmana. And he told him that Indra is going to come to ask in charity for your armor and earrings. When he comes, you should not give him. Because once you are separated from this, then you become vulnerable. And it is Surya who told him that this armor is made from celestial nectar. As long as you're wearing them, not even the gods can kill you. So don't give him. Uh, you just find some excuse, right? Dodge him and don't give him this. Karna said, "How is it possible? I will become infamous for not keeping my word. It's better to lose my life than to lose fame, because fame is immortal. Even after I die, the fame will remain. I will be known as a famous person, and Indra will lose his fame for coming and begging from me. So actually, fame is lasting. Please don't ask me." First, he asked him who he was, this Brahmana, and the Brahmana actually revealed that he was Surya. Then Karna was very pleased because Surya was the Ishtadev of Karna. He would worship Surya every day. So he said, "Thank you so much for your concern, but don't ask me to, uh, break my vow." So Surya was aware of this. He suspected that Karna would not agree. So then Surya said, "Okay, then in that case, after you, when Indra asks you for your armor, you should ask him for his weapon. Ask him for his celestial weapon, and then that weapon can kill anyone." So Karna was okay. And no, actually, Surya didn't give him a chance to say anything after that. After saying that, ask for the weapon, he just disappeared. And Karna woke up from his sleep and he was wondering, was this real or was it just a dream? So he went and prayed to Surya and he heard a voice. He told Surya that I had a dream like this. Was it real? And he heard a voice from the sky confirming that it was true. And sure enough, after a few days, one at noon one day, when he was doing his worship, uh, every day Brahmanas would come to ask him for charity. So this particular Brahmana came to him and asked him for his armor. Immediately Karna understood, oh, this is Indra. And then he tried to dissuade him. He said, "You are a Brahmana. What will you do with my armor? If it is for the gold that you are asking my armor, then I will give you so much gold and so much wealth that not only you but all your descendants for your whole lifetime can live very comfortably. Just take something else. Why do you want my armor? I have to cut this armor from my body and it is part of my body. First of all, it's going to be painful, right? My body is going to bleed when I cut. And apart from that, when I'm separated from this, when I fight in the battle, I become vulnerable to my enemies. I will be killed in the battle. So, what benefit will you get from taking my armor?" But the Brahmana said, "No, I want only this. And if you want, you give me. If you don't want, don't give." So, how is that possible? How can Karna become untrue to his vow? So he said, "Okay, I will give you. But as I told you that when I lose this armor, I'm going to become vulnerable in battle. So, in exchange, give me a weapon." He actually identified him as Indra. He said, "I know you are Indra." When he asked for the weapon, that's when Indra said, "Oh, Surya has told you everything. I understand, right?" So he said, "Okay, I won't give you, so give me some weapon." When he said, "Give me some weapon," then Indra said, "Okay, so Surya has told you everything. All right, I cannot give my thunderbolt, but I will give you Shakti weapon. But there's a condition there. The condition is this Shakti weapon, normally when I release it, it kills so many soldiers, so many enemy soldiers at once. And after killing them, it comes back to me. And again, whenever I want, I use it. But in your case, when I give you this Shakti weapon, you can kill only one enemy. And after killing that enemy, this weapon will not return to you, it will come back to me. That means I'm giving this to you, but you can use it only once on one enemy, and after that, it's going to come back. And Karna said, I need it only for one enemy. He wanted to kill Arjun. So, like that. And also, another condition was, I'm going to cut my armor, but you have to restore my body to its normal, condition. There shouldn't be scars of, armor being cut from my body. And then he started cutting the armor, and his body was bleeding. And all the demigods and demons, seeing Karna's, charitable disposition, they started showering flowers like that on him. So he gave it, and Indra disappeared after giving the Shakti weapon. And back here, um, so we saw that one day, one Brahmana came to Yudhishthir Maharaj in Dvaitavana. This is towards the end of their exile in forest. They are already contemplating now where they are going to spend their last year in incognito. So one Brahmana arrived and he said to Yudhishthir Maharaj, all my yagya paraphernalia, my ladles, my sticks with which I do yagya, I had them all bundled in a cloth. Somehow this deer came running, and this bundle got stuck in the horns of this deer, and it ran away. Now, without my sacrifice, how can I keep my dharma? Please get me my uh, yagya paraphernalia. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, along with his brothers, immediately went after this deer with their weapons. All five of them were running and running and shooting arrows, but they could not capture the deer, nor kill the deer, nor retrieve the paraphernalia of the Brahman. After running for a long time, they became exhausted, and they went and finally sat under a banyan tree, and they were talking amongst each other. Sahadev was saying, "How did this happen?" Right? When somebody comes to a kshatriya asking for help, especially a brahmana is coming, and if the kshatriya is not able to give protection, this is such a dishonor for the kshatriya. Hmm? It's like he let down all his ancestors by not being able to keep his dharma. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj explained that whatever suffering or happiness that comes in our life is because of our actions in the past. We cannot exactly find out, calculate for what sin we are suffering now, or why we are getting the enjoyment now. This is all the doing of our karma and karmic reactions. Then Bhimsen said, "I know why it is happening, because I didn't kill that Dushasan when he touched Draupadi. I should have killed him then and there. Because I didn't kill him, because of that sin, now we are getting this reaction." And then Arjun said, "Yeah, not only that, even me, when Karna used such abusive words for Draupadi, I didn't do anything. I didn't kill him. I didn't cut off his hand. So that's why, not his hand, he spoke, right? I didn't kill him. That's why this is happening." And then Yudhishthir Maharaj said to Sahadev, "Just climb this tree and see if there's any water nearby. We are parched, right? It's been a long day and we are all thirsty." So Sahadev climbed on a tree and he could see some waterfowl. So he said, "Oh, there's some water nearby because I see some water birds." So Yudhishthir Maharaj said, "Go get some water for us, and then we will think about what to do next from here." So then he emptied his two quivers to fill them with water. He went to the in that direction, and he found a lake, very beautiful, heavenly, surrounded by nice trees with flowers. It was very, very nice. So he thought, "Let me refresh myself, let me drink some water." He went to drink, and immediately he heard a voice that said, "You cannot drink the water from this lake. It belongs to me. If you want to drink water, first you should answer my questions." Sahadev didn't care. He was so thirsty. He thought, "Let me drink water and then I will deal with this person." As soon as he drank, he dropped down dead. And then it had been a while. Sahadev didn't return. And Yudhishthir Maharaj became concerned. He sent Nakul, "You go and see what happened, why Sahadev didn't come back yet." Then Nakul went, same thing happened. He also heard the voice. First of all, he was shocked when he saw Sahadev lying dead. But he was so thirsty, he thought, "Let me first drink some water and then I'll figure out what to do." And he heard the same voice. He also didn't care. He fell down. Then both of them didn't return. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj sent Arjun. Arjun went and he was shocked. And then he shot arrows, thinking that maybe, no. First he went and he thought, "Let me drink water." He heard the voice. When he heard the voice, he said, "Whoever you are, come in front of me and fight with me." Uh, and because nobody was seen, he used his Shabda Veda arrows that can actually shoot uh, the enemy who is not seen. But all the arrows just fell on the ground. They didn't pierce anyone. And then Arjun thought, "Let me drink water." And when he tried to drink water, he also dropped down. Then Bhimsen was sent. And Bhimsen also, he saw and he was shocked. And then he thought, "Looks like this is the doing of some Rakshasa who has attacked my brothers. Let me drink water and prepare myself because I'm exhausted to face this Rakshasa." So he went to drink water. He heard the voice and he also thought, "First I'll drink." And he tried to drink and he fell down. Finally, Yudhishthir Maharaj himself came, being worried what happened to his brothers. And when he came, he saw, first of all, when he saw all four brothers dropped dead on the ground, he was, um, he started crying. He was thinking, I was depending on Arjun and Bhimsen, and now what will happen? And then who could have killed all the Pandavas, all the four brothers? He was crying, and after some time, he realized that I don't see any signs that they were actually killed by any weapon. I don't see any footsteps of any person walking around. And also, I can tell that the soul is still there in the bodies of all these four brothers. The souls are still there because the luster is still there. But at the same time, they are not breathing. So certainly, this looks like the work of Yamaraj, right? It's as if Yamaraj went in and he just possessed the life air. Looks like. And then he thought, let me drink some water. He went and he heard the same voice that first you should answer my questions, otherwise you will also die like your brothers. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj said, yes, I will answer. If this is your lake, then I will not drink water without your permission. But then he was seeing, where is this? Who's speaking? And he said, can you show yourself to me? Who are you? And the person said, I am a crane who lives on moss and fish. And he saw a crane in front of him. And then uh, he said, Yudhishthir Maharaj thought a crane could not have done this. So tell me your identity. And then he said, I'm a yaksha. And then he came in a fearsome form with red eyes. And then he said, answer my questions. And he asked a few questions. Anyone remembers what questions the yaksha asked? Let's take a look at it. They're important questions. So, yeah, today's chapter is very interesting. I mean, every day is interesting, but to Virata. Mm. Okay, questions. What makes the soul rise out of his entanglement in matter? Knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Okay, because we are in avidya now. Avidya means not having knowledge of the Supreme, absolute truth of the Supreme Lord. So that is why we are in the conditioned state. So the question what makes the soul rise out of this entanglement of matter? Knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Second question, who keeps him company? So while he is in this conditioned state, who is keeping him company? Who is with him? Godly qualities are his companions. Godly qualities. Uh, that means the person who can come out of this entanglement of matter, who is his companion? The companion of a person who is able to come out of the entanglement of matter, his companion is godly qualities. Then, who is his guide? Who guides him? Dharma is his guide. Dharma. And what is he established? Right? What is the platform on which he's standing? Truth. Okay. So, how can one come out of entanglement? By knowledge of the Supreme. Who keeps such a person company? Who gives him company? Good godly qualities. Who is the guide? Dharma. And what is the platform on which he's standing? What is he established on? Truth. Next. What makes one learned? One becomes learned by studying Vedas. Okay. What makes one learned? One who studies Vedas is learned. How does one attain to that which is most exalted? By asceticism, one attains what is most exalted. Asceticism means tapasya. By asceticism, one attains that which is most exalted. How does one acquire a second self? Intelligence is the second self. And by what does one become wise? by serving one's elders, one becomes wise. Okay? Intelligence is the second self. By serving the elders, one becomes wise. By asceticism, one can attain that which is most exalted. And by studying Vedas, one becomes learned. Then he said, answer 4 questions and you can, I can bring one of your brothers back to life. So, what were the last 4 questions? He said, who in this world is happy? Yudhishthir Maharaj said, one who is not in debt, who is not exiled, lives and who lives by eating simple food cooked at home. Okay? He's a happy person. Who is happy? One who is not in debt, one who is not exiled, and one who eats simple food cooked at home. Such a person is a happy person. Next question. What is the most wonderful thing? What is the most wonderful thing? That we see so many living creatures are dying every day. They're going to the abode of death. But still, I never think that I am also going to die. I always feel that I am immortal. I'm going to live forever. And my plans are in that direction. Thinking that I'm immortal, I make so many plans. This is the most wonderful thing. Although we see everyone dying, still we think I'm going to live forever. Then, next question was, what are the tidings of this world? Okay, the tidings of this world are so like a so this world is like a cauldron with the sun as its fire. Okay, so cauldron is a pot. So on the fire you have a pot, and then uh, what do you use for fuel? You put some sticks to burn the fire, right? Uh, so this world is like a pot. The sun is like the fire. And what is the fuel? Day and night is the fuel. Day and night is the fuel, which is cooking. What is inside the pot? What is being cooked inside the pot? All the living creatures, all creatures, they are being cooked by time. So day and night is nothing but time. So in the form of time, and how this time comes to us in the form of day and night, caused by the sun. All living beings are getting cooked. These are the tidings of this world. The last question is, how can one find the eternal path of religion? It is found in the heart of great mystics. Eternal path. Mahajano yena gatasya pantha. Where do you find? In the heart of great mystics, you find the eternal path of religion. The Yaksha was very happy and he said, okay, which brother do you want me to bring back to life? Yudhishthir Maharaj said, Nakul. Then he said, yeah, that Yaksha said, why Nakul? You need Bhima in battle, or maybe Arjun. Why you're asking Nakul? Again, Yudhishthir Maharaj said, because Nakul is Madri's son. I am Kunti's son. Kunti has one son. Madri also should have one son living. For to me, they're all equal. And the reason he gave is, I would never abandon Dharma. So Dharma is, because he protects Dharma all the time, he sees, you know, there is no, envy or favoritism. That is against Dharma, isn't it? Mine and others. But he is saying, to me, everyone is equal. Why I see everyone as equal? Because this is Dharma. And if I protect Dharma, Dharma will protect me. I can never. And then Dharmaraj was, I'm sorry, Yaksha was very happy listening to Yudhishthir's uh, decision to asking only for Nakul and why he was asking. He said, I'm so happy I'm going to give you all 4 brothers like that. And he said, I'm not satisfied. Ask for something else. Then he said, oh, please return that Brahman's sticks and his ladle and everything. So then, and then he said, okay, I give you that also. Still, I'm not satisfied. Ask for something else. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj said, let me always overcome avarice, folly, anger. May my mind always be inclined to charity, asceticism, truth. That means let me always adhere to dharma. And again, once again, he smiled and said, You already have those qualities, but still I grant you this desire. And in this way, all Pandavas were brought back to consciousness, and Dharmaraj disappeared. Dharma. So that Yaksha was actually Dharma, the father of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Now, chapter 35, into Virata. As the rainy season came and went, Daumya determined by astrological calculation that the 13th year of exile was about to commence. So, during the rainy season, they were up in the Himalayas. Only in fall they came down. So, since the rainy season was over, now Daumya determined that the 13th year is about to begin. The brothers discussed their strategy. Encouraged by Dharma's boon, hmm, encouraged by Dharma's boon, they were hopeful. What was Dharma's boon? There was one more thing, right? That during exile, one more thing. Yudhishthir Maharaj asked for one more thing from Dharma. May we not be detected during our 1 year's incognito. And Dharmaraj said, I give you that benediction. Even if you just went as you were, right, dressed normally, no one will ever recognize you. This was a boon given by Dharmaraj. So that's also there. So that's why, being encouraged by Dharma's boon, they were hopeful. Although Duryodhan would undoubtedly send hundreds and thousands of spies all over the world to search for them, he would not find them. But they did not want to take any chances. Thus, they considered how best to conceal themselves. This quality is also so wonderful, right? Okay, you have a boon, but not that because I have a boon, therefore I won't do my duty. Right? Just like Krishna told Arjun also in the battlefield that I've already killed everyone. You simply shoot your arrows. But does it mean that Arjun was relaxed? I don't, they're already killed. No, he still did his duty and with full sincerity he did like that. So here also, they were confident that because of Dharma's boon, no one will be able to recognize them, but they didn't want to take any chances. They considered how best to conceal themselves. Yudhishthir spoke to Arjun, O ruler of men, what is your view? How shall we remain incognito? Another thing, Dharmaraj also said, Dharma told Yudhishthir Maharaj that they will be spending their last year in Virata. That was also revealed. So Yudhishthir is asking Arjun, how shall we remain incognito? By virtue of Dharma's boon, we shall be able to go about without being discovered. I have no doubt about that. But let us consider carefully the places where we could reside peacefully. I shall name them. Arjun listed a number of countries where their allies lived and asked Yudhishthir which he felt was most suitable. Yudhishthir thanked his brother for his suggestions and replied, Dear brother, what Dharma has said must come to pass. We shall reside in Matsya, the kingdom of Virata. That aged king is powerful, charitable, of a righteous disposition, and always favorably disposed toward us. Let us go there as his servants. Tell me, O sons of Kunti, how we should each present ourselves to the king. How will we introduce ourselves? Arjun replied doubtfully, O virtuous one, how will you become the servant of the king? You are like a god among men and have always been the lord of others. How will you submit yourself to a lesser man? Yudhishthir reassured Arjun, There will be no problem. I shall become the king's dicing partner and friend. Presenting myself as Yudhishthir's former personal servant and close friend, Kanka, an expert at gaming, I will offer him and his ministers various kinds of pleasing service. Now, O Vrikodara, who is Vrikodara? Bhima, tell me in what capacity you will enter Virata's city. Bhima had already decided, O Bharata, I will present myself as a cook named Vallabha. I will say that I formerly worked in Yudhishthir's royal kitchens. I am an expert in the kitchen business and will prepare fine dishes for the king's table. I will also please the king by feats of strength and by wrestling. I will overpower elephants and bulls and throw down the best of Virata's wrestlers without killing them. O king, do not fear for me. I will take care of myself. Yudhishthir nodded approvingly and turned to Arjun. What work will Dhananjaya, who possesses invincible power, who is the joy of the Kurus, and before whom the god Agni appeared as a Brahman begging a favor, except as the sun is the foremost of all planets, the Brahman the best of all men, and the thunderbolt the best of all weapons, so Arjun is the best of all archers. What humble office can he accept, having gone to heaven and obtained all celestial weapons after pleasing the god of gods, Maheshwara? I think Krishna's friend does not deserve to be reduced to such a plight. Arjun then remembered Urvashi's curse and Indra's subsequent instruction. O ruler of the earth, I shall become a member of the third sex, a eunuch. In order to conceal the scars the bowstring has made on my arms, I will wear numerous bangles. With bright gold earrings and braided hair, I will go before the king as Brihannala and offer to instruct his ladies in singing and dancing. I have acquired proficiency in these skills from the Gandharvas, living in the king's Seraglio. I will act, I guess where all the women live. I will act as a female and please the king and his women by my services and by reciting many stories. On being asked for my background, I will say that I was formerly a waiting maid in Yudhishthir's palace. O king, hiding myself in this way, as fire is concealed by ashes, I will pass my days during this last year. Yudhishthir looked in wonder at Arjun. A eunuch? How astonishing! How astonishing were the movements of destiny! He turned to Nakul and asked him how he planned to appear before Virata. Nakul replied, I shall be a keeper of horses known as Granthika. I am thoroughly acquainted with all aspects of horsemanship and enjoy that work. O king, horses are as dear to me as you are. I will, I will tell Virata that I was previously in charge of Yudhishthir's horses. Yudhishthir finally asked Sahadev what disguise he would assume. The youngest Pandava replied that he would become a cowherd. This work pleases me, O king. I possess the skills of taming, milking, and breeding cattle. I can recognize all the signs and characteristics of different kinds of cows and bulls. Known as Tantripala, I shall thus render service to Virata, telling him that I used to work in that capacity for Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir looked across at Draupadi, who sat near the brothers. Here is our beloved wife. She is dearer to us than life. Like a mother, she is to be cherished, and like an elder sister, respected. How will she appear before Virata? She is not accustomed to the position of servant, and has been accustomed from birth to royal opulence. Draupadi replied, O Bharata, there is a class of maid known as Sairindri who serves others. It is understood that no respectable lady would accept such service. So I will conceal myself in that guise, saying that I was formerly Draupadi's waiting maid. I will serve Sudeshna, the king's esteemed wife. By my expert service of dressing hair and ornamenting the queen, I will please her. Do not be anxious for me, O king. Yudhishthir looked at his devoted wife. She was prepared to undergo any austerity to serve her husbands. Although she was energetic and accomplished, it would not be easy for her to accept the position of menial servant to someone inferior, and her stay in Virata would be fraught with danger from lusty men who thought she had no protector. You have spoken well, Yudhishthir said. Devoted as you are to piety and chastity, O queen, you are a stranger to sin. You should behave yourself in Virata in such a way that no wicked man might become attracted to you. The Pandavas had discussed their plans for the final year in a secluded place. They did not want to risk disclosing their whereabouts even to their friends and servants. When they had decided upon their disguises, they went back to the hermitage. Yudhishthir then said to Dhaumya, O learned Brahman, if it is agreeable to you, please go to Drupada's city. There you may live in peace and preserve our Agnihotra fires. So they didn't even reveal to Dhaumya, only the five of them and Draupadi knew. Yudhishthir ordered his servants headed by Indrasena to go to Dwaraka and live with the Yadavas. Upon arriving there, you should tell everyone that you were left alone by the Pandavas at Dvaitavana. You have no idea of their whereabouts or intentions. Daumya made all arrangements for the Pandavas' journey. He lit the sacred fire and offered oblations on their behalf, invoking auspiciousness upon them and blessing them that they would achieve victory. The brothers and Draupadi then walked around the sacred fire and, after bowing before the Brahmins, left the hermitage. Lean and bearded, after their long stay in the forest, the five brothers, clad in deerskins and carrying their weapons, seemed like five powerful rishis as they made their way on foot toward the river Kalindi. As they passed through various countries, staying sometimes in the wild and at other times in inhabited regions, they presented themselves as hunters. Bhima carried Draupadi, and they moved quickly toward their destination. After many days of travel, they finally arrived in the Matsyas' expansive country. They saw the well laid roads and paths that led from the forest into the capital. When the Pandavas reached the outskirts of the city, Yudhishthir sat them all down in a grassy clearing and said, O best of men, although you are all acquainted with the science of diplomacy and policy, it still behooves me to advise you. We should conduct ourselves carefully in Virata's presence. Kings are always to be feared as one fears a deadly snake. The protectors and cherishers of all beings, they are deities in human form and are like great fires equipped with all weapons. One should always act with the utmost caution when in a king's presence. He who acts falsely with a king is killed by him. Of this there is no doubt, right? Because if they are found caught, right, that they are not what they are uh, presenting to the king to be, if he finds out, so it's not good. So he who acts falsely with the king is killed by him. Of this there is no doubt. Yudhishthir spoke for some time, giving detailed instructions about all aspects of behavior with kings. He did not want his brothers to make any mistakes now that they were so close to completing their vow. Just one more year and they would be able to reclaim their kingdom. After finishing his instructions, Yudhishthir led them toward the city. As they walked on, he said to Arjun, if we enter Virata with our weapons, we will frighten the citizens and be quite conspicuous. They will find out, right? Arjun's Gandiva and Bhim's Gada. Indeed, your Gandiva is famous throughout the world. If we are discovered by anyone, then we will have to live a further 13 years in exile. Yudhishthir had faith in Dharma's boon, but he did not want to take unnecessary chances. The Pandavas decided to conceal their weapons near the city. After looking around, they came upon a huge sami tree near a cremation ground. The area was dismal and deserted, far from the road and close to the forest. Arjun suggested they wrap their weapons into a cloth bundle and place them high in the tree. Anyone seeing that bundle by the crematorium would assume it to be a corpse and leave it alone. Agreeing to the suggestion, the brothers unstrung their bows and placed them upon Bhima's large deerskin garment. They wrapped and tied the bows, swords, quivers, and arrows. Nakul ascended the tree with the bundle and secured it to a high branch, which he felt offered sufficient shelter from the rain. The Pandavas then made their way toward the city. They passed some cowherd men and told them that they had just placed their mother's body on the tree. This is our ancient custom, Yudhishthir said. We have placed our old mother's body high in the tree. May she attain to the blessed heavenly regions. As they reached the city gate, Yudhishthir prayed to goddess Durga, seeing her as Krishna's divine energy, whose service it was to conceal the Lord's identity from the atheists. Yes, Naham Prakashaha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavritaha. So it is her duty to hide the Lord's identity from the atheists. He asks for her protection. Pleased by his prayer, the goddess appeared before the Pandavas. O heroes, you will soon attain victory in battle. After slaying your enemies, you will again enjoy the earth. Through my grace, neither the Kurus nor the inhabitants of Virata will recognize you until the final year has expired. The goddess disappeared and the Pandavas entered the capital, Virata. Yudhishthir went first, but before parting from his brothers, he gave each of them a secret name by which they could call each other if the need arose. He was called Jaya, and the others were Jayanta, Vijaya, Jayatsena, and Jayatbala. Yudhishthir then strode into the city like a mighty lion. he went directly to the king's court. The king saw him enter like the moon emerging from clouds. Turning to his counselors, he asked, "Who is this man who walks into my court as if he were a king? He, he cannot be a Brahmin. I think he is a lord of the earth. Although he has neither a slave nor any other attendants with him, he shines like Indra and approaches me as fearlessly as an elephant might approach a lotus." Yudhishthir came up to Virata and said, "O sinless one, know me to be a Brahmin who has lost everything and now seeks your service. I wish to live with you and accept you as my master." Joyful at having acquired such an obviously qualified man, Virata replied, "O worshipful one, I bow down to you. You are most welcome. I will give you the post you desire. Which country are you from, and what is your name? Do you possess any particular skills?" "I was formerly a friend of Yudhishthir, and my name is Kanka. I am expert in casting dice and can entertain and please you in that way." The king smiled without thinking for a moment that the so called Brahman before him might actually be Yudhishthir himself. He didn't think even once that this could be Yudhishthir. Although he felt the newcomer to be extraordinary, he accepted his explanation. He felt an immediate affinity for Kanka, whose expressions and bodily movements were gentle and pleasing. If he was Yudhishthir's friend, then he was surely of the highest character and worthy of his respect. "Live with me in peace," Virata said cheerfully. "This kingdom is as much yours as it is mine." Wow. "I am always pleased by expert dicers." Yudhishthir asked that he not be called to play with low class people or involved in disputes or fights over the game. The king replied, "I will kill anyone who does you any wrong. If the wrongdoer is a Brahmin, I will banish him from the kingdom. Let all my subjects hear my proclamation. This Kanka is as much the lord of this dominion as myself." Turning to Yudhishthir, the king continued, "You shall be my friend. You will ride on my chariot, wear the best clothes, and enjoy the finest dishes. My door will always be open to you, and you will become my closest advisor and counselor." Wow. At first sight, Yudhishthir was then shown to his quarters in the king's palace, and he began to live there happily and undetected by anyone. The following day, Bhima entered the city. He went down the main road toward the king's palace, appearing like a powerful lord of elephants. In his hands, he held a ladle and a cooking spoon, as well as a shining, unblemished sword, azure in color. What is azure? Is it Spanish? I don't know. Bluish. Okay. Okay. Sky color. Dressed, so that was his sword. Dressed as a cook, uh, he had a sword in addition to ladle and cooking spoon. Oh, to cut vegetables. Okay. Dressed as a cook, he went before the king. Vegetables, you need a knife, not a sword. Anyway, dressed as a cook, he went before the king, illuminating the royal court with his bodily effulgence. Virata looked at him in amazement and asked his counselors, "Who is this young man, exceedingly handsome and with the shoulders of a lion? Although he is new here, I feel as if I have always known him. I cannot place him, but he surely must either be Purandara himself, or Purandara means Indra, or perhaps the powerful Gandharva king. Whatever he wants, let him have it immediately." One of Virata's counselors went to Bhima and asked him what he desired. The Pandava looked up at the king and said, "O king, I am a cook named Vallabha. Pray appoint me to your kitchen, for I am expert in the culinary arts." Virata gazed at Bhima's massive arms and broad chest. "I cannot believe that you are a cook. You shine like the thousand-eyed deity, Indra. And from your grace, beauty, and prowess, you appear to be the best of men. O king, I'm your servant." Acha, this is a Bhimsen saying, "O king, I'm your servant. Allow me to work in the royal kitchens." As he addressed the king, Bhima's voice resounded in the royal court like a great drum. In days gone, in days gone by, my cooking was tasted by Yudhishthir, but I possess other abilities as well. I am a peerless wrestler and can entertain you by fighting lions and elephants. As with Kanka, The king felt an immediate affection for this unusual arrival. You shall become the head of my kitchens, but I do not think this office worthy of you, who should rather be the ruler of the earth. Bhima began to work in the kitchens, becoming a great favorite of the king and recognized by no one. Draupadi was next to enter the city, with her glossy black hair twisted into one long braid thrown on her right hand side, and dressed in a single soiled cloth. She walked through the city streets as if in distress. Many people gathered around her and asked her who she was and what she wanted. I am a Sairindri, Draupadi replied. I seek someone who will employ and maintain me. Hearing her sweet voice and observing her incomparable beauty, they found it hard to believe that she could be a maidservant. They directed her to the royal palace, and as she was walking, Sudeshna, Virata's wife, saw her. The queen asked, "O gentle one, why do you wander about in this way?" Draupadi repeated her story, and Sudeshna replied, "This surely cannot be true. O most beautiful one, it seems to me that you yourself could appoint numerous servants. By your bodily appearance, I take you to be of the highest and most noble lineage. Your countenance shines like the full moon. Your body is shapely. Your eyes are like lotus petals framed by curling lashes. Your lips are red like the bimba fruit, and your skin is as smooth as silk. In beauty, you resemble a goddess and must surely have descended from the heavens. Pray tell me who you are, for you cannot possibly be a maidservant." Draupadi straightened her dishevelled cloth and turned her dark eyes toward the queen. "I am neither a goddess nor a celestial. I am a maid of the Sairindri class. I am skilled in dressing hair and preparing unguents. I can make variegated and beautiful garlands of jasmines, lotuses, and lilies. Previously, I have served Satyabhama, Krishna's beloved queen, and Draupadi, the Pandava's wife. My name is Malini. Now I have no engagement. Please allow me to serve in your palace, O queen." Sudeshna gazed at Draupadi's unparalleled beauty and obvious nobility. How could she be a serving maid? Still, she would make a valuable addition to the palace. But what effect would she have on the king, and indeed any other man who saw her? The queen smiled at Draupadi, but spoke doubtfully. "I can place you on my head, never mind as my servant. I do not doubt it, yet I fear that your beauty will captivate the king's heart. Seeing how even the women here are staring at you, I feel there is no man alive who could resist your charms. It seems that even the trees are bending low to pay you homage. Surely, upon seeing you, the king will lose his heart and forsake me. O lady of sweet smiles, the person upon whom you cast a glance will certainly fall victim to the god of love. By engaging you, I will bring upon myself my own destruction. Although I should love to have your company, this is my fear." Covering her long hair with her upper cloth, Draupadi reassured the queen. "Neither Virata nor any other man can win me, fair lady, for I have 5 Gandharva husbands. Those invincible heroes always protect me, and I will not cast a single glance on another man. However, they stipulate certain conditions for those who would engage me, who my husbands. They have made certain conditions for those who would engage me. My husbands desire that I not eat any food which has already been taken by another. That means no remnants. And that I not be asked to wash another's feet. Guarding me secretly, my husbands bring about the immediate destruction of any man who desires me. No one is able to sway me from the path of righteousness. O Queen, indeed, I ask that you always keep me safe from other men. Therefore, allay your fears." Sudeshna decided to employ Draupadi. Promised that her food would always be fresh and untouched by another, and that she would not be called upon to wash anyone's feet. Draupadi thanked her and was led by the queen into the inner chambers of the palace, where she began her life as a maidservant. The day after Draupadi's entrance into Virata, Sahadev made his way into the city dressed as a cowherd. He arrived at the cow pasture in the region of Virata's palace. The king happened to be visiting his herd and was present when Sahadev arrived. Virata sent for him and asked who he was and why he had come to the city. Sahadev replied, I am a Vaishya named Tantripala. I used to work with the cows belonging to the Pandavas. I am expert in handling cattle and desire to render you that service. Virata observed Sahadev's broad shoulders and long arms. You must surely be a Brahmin or a powerful Kshatriya, he replied. The office of a ruler would better suit you than that of a cowherd. Tell me, from where do you hail, O afflictor of enemies? What engagement do you desire, and what payment? I used to reside in Indraprastha, and I took care of the innumerable cows there, Sahadev answered. I know everything about caring for cows. O king, I desire only my residence and upkeep and will serve you to the best of my ability. The king accepted Sahadev's request. I have 100,000 cows. These, along with their keepers, shall be placed under your care. Live here in peace, and I shall ensure that you are provided with whatever you desire. The day after Sahadev's entry, another newcomer was seen making his way into the city. Of huge body and adorned with the clothes and ornaments of a woman, he went toward the king's palace, shaking the earth with his steps, even though he walked with the gait of a broad hipped woman. He stood before the king with his body concealed by layers of colored silks. His arms were covered by numerous conch bracelets set with gold. His arms, the whole arm was covered. And he seemed like a huge, gorgeously decorated elephant standing in the royal court. Virata looked at him in surprise. He asked his courtiers, who is this person? I have never seen such a one. I've never seen anything like this. When none of them could identify him, the king turned to Arjun and said, you appear endowed with the might of a celestial, young and dark complexion. Sorry, celestial. You appear endowed with the might of a celestial, young and dark complexion. You look like a lord of elephants. Although you wear bracelets and fine gold earrings and have braided your hair, you still shine like a god, decked with garlands and equipped with armor and weapons. Become like my son or even myself. I am old and worn out. Therefore, rule this kingdom in my place and let me retire. I cannot believe you are of the neuter sex. In a deep voice that echoed around the court, Arjun replied, I sing, dance, and play musical instruments. I am skilled in all these arts. O God among men, assign me to your daughter Uttara, and I shall be her dancing master. Please do not ask me how I acquired this form, for that would only add to my pain. O king, know me to be Brihannala, a son or daughter without parents. Brihannala, son or daughter without parents. Virata stared with astonishment at Brihannala. After testing you, I will happily place you as my daughter's instructor. I feel, though, that you deserve to rule the earth rather than to accept such a humble office. The king had beautiful women examine Brihannala to ensure that he was free from lust. He also asked him to display his abilities of singing and dancing. The women reported that there was no problem, and the king, after seeing his celestial skills, happily appointed Brihannala as Princess Uttara's teacher. In the guise of a eunuch, Arjun began living with the women in Virata's palace, instructing them in singing and playing musical instruments, as well as in the various modes of dancing he had learned from the Gandharvas. Due to Urvashi's curse, he felt no disturbance in the women's presence, and he soon became a great favorite in their chambers. No one suspected that he was, in fact, the world renowned Pandava. It only remained for Nakul to enter Virata. Then, on the day after Arjun entered, he appeared in the city. The people saw him walking through the streets like the sun appearing from behind clouds. Going to the royal stables, he began to examine the horses. When the king saw him there, shining like a celestial, he had him summoned to the royal court. Nakul introduced himself. O king, all victory to you. I am the keeper of horses, known as Granthika. I was formerly employed by Yudhishthir and am versed in all the arts of horsemanship. I know the temper of horses and can break them completely. Under my care, hardly an animal falls ill, and not even the mares are found to be wicked. Employ me as a horsekeeper, O king, and I shall serve you well. Virata looked at the tall, powerful person before him. He seemed to be born of aristocracy. There was no doubt that he had the abilities he claimed to have. The king agreed to employ him. You shall take charge of my stables and all those who work in them, including my charioteers. You appear to me like a king yourself, and your sight is as pleasing to me as it must have been to Yudhishthir. I wonder how the faultless Pandava is faring in the deep forest without servants such as yourself. Having achieved the positions they desired, the five brothers and Draupadi began their final year in exile, unsuspected by anyone. So we will stop there today. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. We will continue tomorrow.